about 2 months ago, I told you what an opportunity there was for you to save in bank-issued or credit union-issued CDs. That because of the inflationary cycle, interest rates had become so favorable for you, stashing your cash that you don't need day in and day out, but is money that you're putting aside kind of like in a parking space, not investing money, just saving money. The value of putting it in longer-term CDs. Well, now, as I feared, the interest rates on those longer-term CDs has dropped. Not way down, but it's definitely dropped. Why? Because the inflation reports have been so favorable lately. After we went through the brutal inflationary cycle, fortunately, it was short-lived, and now so many things actually are cheaper than they were a year ago. So we got back some of what was taken from us from the peak of that inflationary cycle. Other things have stayed more expensive. The overall net effect is that the headline inflation rate, as you heard recently, is around 3%. So if I got needs for money, what I'll pay you on your money that you give me, in other words, as a CD, you're basically the bank lending the bank money. You're the lender, they're the borrower. That's what a CD is, except it's FDIC insured. So now, because the psychology of brutal inflation's been broken, even though inflation is not tamed completely, and we may have a few months of where inflation does a little bit of a wave kind of effect, higher than expected, lower than expected. The trend is our friend, but it's not on your savings. So 5-year CDs that we're paying in the fives, when I talked about this 2 months ago, now the best you're going to do is maybe 4.65, 4.75, something like that, shopping around. So there's two basic ways to shop. If you're going to do a ladder, or you're just going to go long with some of your money. What's a ladder? You divide the money that you're willing to put aside into CDs into 5 equal piles. You put 20% in a 1 year, 20% in a 2 year, 20% in a 3 year, 20% in a 4 year, 20% in a 5 year. So you have access to 20% of the money you've stashed in CDs every 12 months. And then when that 12 months comes, you can decide what you're going to do with it at that point. It goes in a savings account, spend it for something, invest it, or put it into a new longer-term CD potentially, because the classic ladder is every year when 20% of your money comes available, you put it back into a new 5-year CD. But the way the interest rates may curve a year from now, that may not be the best strategy. So you can buy the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can look at bank rate. We got a list at Clark.com. You can see what the best rates out there are on those various terms. If you use bank rate as a search tool, know that the first ones you see are ones that paid them more money to list early. Go beyond to see the best rates. But the best way to buy CDs that are FDIC insured is actually through Vanguard, Schwab, and Fidelity. They will place them through wholesale channels, getting you potentially more money than you can get on your own. So that is the smartest way to do it. But it may not be what you're comfortable doing. You may want to have a direct relationship with whatever bank you're putting the money in CDs instead of through Schwab, Fidelity, or Vanguard. So, Krista, it's funny that with the credit union and bank CDs, the biggest banks are still paying like it is 2 years ago.
Seriously.
They're paying like nothing.
Yep.
And that's why if you have your money that you don't need, that's idle cash that you don't need right now, in Wells Fargo, Chase, Citi, or Bank of America, obviously you hate your money. You might as well just take it and throw it out of your car window onto the street, or do something really wonderful with it. For others, give it to a charity you love. But let me tell you, the giant monster mega banks do not need your money because you're making a donation to them. Don't do it. Put your money to work the right way.